Hey everyone. Man, this is the hardest part. Just saying hi. I'll get used to it. What's up? This is a little Q&A we're doing. Should be like a relaxing little thing for you to have in the background. I really like when Thor High Heels does these videos. I'm a big fan. I keep bugging him to check my videos, but he won't answer me. My patrons ask the questions. If you want to ask questions, you can become a patron as well over at patreon.com/dadeco. On the 3rd of December, it will be the 1-year anniversary of the video game DJ set series, so this might as well be like a celebration video. I'll try to get the PS1 video done before that, but I'm not sure if I can make it because I sure like to make those videos hard on myself, man. Like every video is a little bit harder than the last one because I keep making shit up. So yeah, I think we can start with the first question by Flourish, who asks, if you had to send music into outer space for aliens to find in the distant future, what would you send? And if you had to send one photograph, what would it be also? I think like the easy answer is just to send like some Aphex Twin so they can immediately empathize with us. But I think what I really do, just like pick music from all over the world and just like try to create a huge collection showing how diverse human culture in general is, you know? And probably not just one track. Like if I was to choose one track from Brazil, I don't think I could do it. I'd have to pick like traditional Afro-Brazilian music as well as bossa nova and samba and maracatu, and yeah, just make a huge collection. I mean, they have time. The aliens have time. I don't think time is really like an issue for them anymore because they probably exist beyond time. Like on Kurt Vonnegut's Killing House. What's the name of the book? Killing House 5? I don't know. Slaughterhouse. Yeah, like Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. Great book. I recommend you read that. Yes, so they have time to like sample every type of music on Earth. Because I don't think like any type of music is superior to any other type, you know? Yeah, they have time to sample everything. I can't like elect the ultimate human music, I think. But yeah, easy answer is Aphex Twin. And I think you had another question. And the photograph. Damn. I don't know a lot about photography, man. So I just looked like most classic photography on Google. This is something I'd like to get into, like photography history. I know a lot about film history, but not really about photography. Man, maybe I send like that one from the Rage Against the Machine album, The Monk on Fire. That's a cool photograph. It says a lot of stuff about human race, I think. That's a good photo. It's here in my most classic photography research. So the next question comes from Flourish as well. If you could meet any person, living or dead, who would you meet and what would you ask? Man, I think the Buddha, man. The Siddhartha Gautama. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Yeah, I'd hang out with him. I don't know if I have like a specific thing to ask. Just like hang out with him and talk about life and shit. Yeah, that's who I'd meet. That's probably like there's probably no one that's more chill to hang out with than the first Buddha. Yeah, if it's a living person, probably Gilberto Gil, Brazilian musician. So next question comes from Brian Stoker, aka B730. What's up, kitty? What's up, kitty? Come here. This is Anastasia. Have you ever had an epiphany or just an eye-opening moment right before or after or during a time you were listening to a song? If so, what song/piece and what happened? I mostly appreciate music on like in like a non-logical manner, you know? I don't really put things into words, like how do you say that? Like I don't really like analyze it, put it in logical terms. It's kind of like beyond language, you know? Like the codes of language and shit. But there are times when I appreciate lyrics. There's one from Tom Zé, another Brazilian composer. I just found the song on YouTube with the lyrics translated to English. So I'll just link to that. Some beautiful lyrics. And yeah, it's something that it just clicked with me. Like I was feeling like pretty depressed with life in my like teen years. This song just like made me realize stuff about happiness. It's called The Happiness. I don't think I agree with it that much anymore. Yeah, I don't really abide by this sort of philosophy nowadays, I think. But it was very important to me, and it made me like, it really created like, what's the word you used? Like an epiphany? An eye-opening moment, yeah. Not really. I think an epiphany is more like an eureka moment, but this was eye-opening for me to like realize where I sat in this issue that is like depression and the search for happiness, and everything. Yeah. Great song, beautiful song. Oh, so this you guys came out of the gate with like some difficult shit. This is easier to answer.
Technomotech asks,
how do you go about obtaining all the music for your mixes? So yeah, I mean, I can't buy this shit, man. If it's like from an indie studio where I can like buy the soundtrack for cheap on Steam or something like that, I will do it. However, if you look at the Namco CDs from the 90s, they cost so freaking much, man. Like my workflow to get this music used to be a mess. I just like search everywhere, but like for the last video, I think I nailed down like
a system,
if you will, or something like that, which is like this. I find a game I want the music for. So first I go into VGMDB, and I'll just link all of this below. For me, like, the more people playing video game music at parties, the best, you know. This is part of the mission. So I first go on VGMDB, which is like the video game music database. I just go there and see if there's an official release of the game I'm dealing with, because usually like people had to work a lot of it with compression and stuff. And then I see, one sec. And then I look if the game has an official release, because usually the music in CD and DVD games is pretty compressed, and when they released official
soundtrack CDs,
it doesn't have that issue anymore. Like nowadays, I think they sometimes use MP3s in games, and you can get like good quality with MP3 320 bytes or kilobytes, I don't know. But yeah, they had to deal with all sorts of different types of compression. So I see if the thing has like an official release, the game. And then if it does, I'll first go into SoulSeek, which is a peer-to-peer program like LimeWire and Shariaza from back in the day, but awesome. And I'll look for it there. And if it's not there, I'll go into Squidboard. Squidboard is it's a pretty recent forum. It's a great forum for looking for those official soundtracks, you know? Quite a find. It came from the ashes of this old website called FF Shrine, which was crazy, man. Like sometimes when I look for stuff from SoulSeek, I get like these kind of like data logs from FF Shrine for stuff that I'm looking for that I can't find anywhere else, and FF Shrine just had like almost everything. And there's some stuff saved, like there's you might realize there's like a bunch of cuts I need to cut all the time, because it takes a little while to, I already speak slow in Portuguese, but if I speak in English I really have to think about how to make the phrases before saying them. Is Danganronpa out on Switch? Is it? Oh man, Danganronpa is out on Switch today. Nice. Yeah, anyway, just because I saw it in one of the sites that I'm going to talk about. But you can find the FF Shrine archives, but most of the links are dead. But you can find some stuff there. Like if I can't find it anywhere else, that's like my last shot. This is for official releases. Most games didn't get them. So to find those, like I have to get the direct rips of the games. So then I go to SoulSeek again and try to find if there's like a good rip and a good quality of it already out there. And if there isn't, I go to this website called Josh W, which has like so freaking many rips, man. Like almost, I think it's close to having like every video game music rip on earth, but not everything. So if it's here, it's probably like in the bizarre file that they used back in the day. My favorites being .ass and .vag. I'm not mature enough to deal with that. Yeah, like every system used to have like very different sorts of formats that they would use, or formats that are common for these games to be ripped into. Then I download that and I use Foobar 2000, the Foobar 2000 player, to convert it. And then you need some plugins that are very easy to find for Foobar to be able to read these weird files. So yeah, if I try all that and the game's not on Josh W or anywhere, I'll just try to rip it myself. So far I ripped one game and that was an easy one. So to get that, you would need like special programs that I haven't started using yet. I'll probably do soon, and then you can ask me about that again. Luca Lovre asks, top 5 albums of all time. Also, we need some Gugush lore. Any fun facts? Gugush is the cat I live with. Actually, she's not my cat. This is a first piece of lore. She's Chitos, João Chito. Is my roommate. I share the apartment with him. He has 3 cats. Gugushi, which right over here. Who's here? She's easier to carry around. Solaris is sleeping right now with João, so I can't get her, but I'll show her on another day. But yeah, fun facts about Gugushi. So she kind of adopted me, you know. She sleeps with me every day. It's very cute. She will like meow until I open my door. The other cats sleep with João, of course, and I love her very deeply. She's bullied. She's so like such a weird little cat. Like super thin, kind of. She reminds me of like Shelley Duvall or... So yeah, she gets bullied a lot. She's very paranoid. She used to be more like... She had a castration recently. It was kind of crazy because her uterus was super
inflamed.
If we hadn't castrated her, she would die in like 1 week or something, like in a matter of days. Yeah, that was also one of the reasons why the Bomberman Hero video took a while. Man, so much stuff happened when I was working on that video. That was one of the things. But yeah, so before she castrated, she was just like so paranoid, like a very paranoid, freaky cat. Now she's more chill out. My Gugush. No. Yeah, of course, Gugush is a singer from Iran. Highly recommended. Great stuff from like 70s Iranian pop music. Check that out, like for real. It's great. I think that's it about Gugushi. You can keep asking all the time. I love to talk about her. I love her so much. But let's talk about albums. This one I had to write before because I couldn't come up with it out of the top of my head. And this is not Brazilian music. Like for Brazilian music, I would have to make like a separate list. Because like for Brazilian music, like the way it inspires me is very different, and my relationship with it is different as well. So for this one, it's just non-Brazilian music, and also it's not in order. And these are not like albums I consider to be the best of all time, not even like the best from these bands or producers actually. Like they're the ones that are the most important to me when it comes to like inspiration, you know, and how important they were for me in my life growing up and being a musician and everything. First one is Alive 2007. This is the one that started it all. I got so depressed when Daft Punk broke up, man. Felt like someone died. Really felt like someone died. Cause yeah, this is the album that started like everything for me. Like after this is when I downloaded my first cracked version of FL Studio. Like back then it was Fruity Loops, and start messing with electronic music. It was what made me go into DJing, what made me go into like researching electronic music and loving electronic music in general. Because before that, I mean, I liked like Gorillaz and whatnot, but like actual electronic dance music, not EDM like the David Guetta, but you know what I'm saying. My favorite Daft Punk album might actually be Discovery, because it's just so freaking perfect. But I think maybe Alive is up there as well. There's one track in Alive that I think is not that great, while I think Discovery is all killer, but it's definitely the most important and what got me into electronic music. And then we have In Rainbows by Radiohead, which is I think you either love or you hate or you don't care. I was going to say hate or love, but I don't like when it comes to Radiohead. I think it's kind of hard to actively hate it. Some people do, but most people just don't care for Radiohead. Like if they don't like it, they mostly just don't care. Cause I think you have to be like in a very specific time in your life to listen to it and for it to click and for you to fall in love with it. And that happened with me in my teenage depressed years, you know. It just made a whole lot of sense to me at the time, and it really helped me go through like some rough shit back then with depression and stuff. It's funny, like when you're sad and you listen to sad music, it somehow soothes you know. And yeah, In Rainbows was the album that got me into Radiohead. Not their best album as well. The best is probably Kid A, but yeah, very important to me for emotional reasons. But the songs are great. The production is fucking crazy. I can't wait to get a PC so I can try out that Radiohead museum. My PC can't handle it, my old ass PC. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say about it. Just after that we have Cosmogramma, I don't know how to pronounce it, by Flying Lotus. I'm going through these in like chronological order that I got into them in my life. Cosmogramma was like, it just like fucking blew my mind to absolute bits. Like I didn't think it was possible to make music like this. It made me like, I don't know the word in English. It made me shit, I'll try to put it in other words. So Cosmogramma made me re-evaluate electronic music also, but kind of like music in general. It transformed music in general for me, I think. Like in a way, it just crushed like so many barriers inside my head of what I thought music could be, you know. It kind of made me realize that music could be anything, and that was like the question Brian asked about epiphanies when listening to songs. I think those albums gave me some epiphanies, and that's basically what I'm talking about. So yeah, it just made me realize that music had no barriers, you know, and that electronic music was infinite. Like the power of being a producer was endless. Like it just can do anything. Like that fucking shattered my mind. It was crazy. And after that we have All We Love, We Leave Behind by Converge, which was the album that got me into hardcore punk. Like before that, I couldn't really listen to anything that was too heavy or extreme, so this album really opened the door. And I used to play in a hardcore band, so I had a friend who played drums. He asked me to start a grindcore band with him. This dude was such a good drummer that I was like, man, sure, let's do whatever. So he showed me this, and then it just like clicked, you know. I understood what extreme music was all about, and that's important for me even when it comes to electronic music, because I can really appreciate like hard techno now, which I didn't before that, you know. And then going from that to shit like the Locust, which might be like the most extreme stuff I used to like, that I still do. Yeah, and then ending up in like harsh noise music and shit. Yeah, it was really a gateway into extreme stuff. Also very important emotionally, you know, because Converge, it's a bunch of just beautiful riffs, like fucking most beautiful freaking guitar riffs ever, but with a lot of distortion and a hardcore beat. That's what Converge is all about, and super emotional stuff. And really resonated with me, and yeah, it was the gateway into extreme music. And then Far East Recording Volume 1 and 2. I think they're kind of the same album. Far East Recording was Soichi Terada's, or is, I think it still exists, but not as active. But it's Soichi Terada's label, where him and Shinichiro Yokota released most of their stuff in the 90s. Man, I'm gonna make it 6. 6 albums, sorry. This album was like very influential, and more recently, like it was very musical, very musical thing. That's kind of broad, but what I mean is that I was searching for my sound, you know. I wanted to make house music for years and years, but I found it too hard because the structure of house music is kind of complex, I think, when you're starting to get into music. Like, there's a lot of ups and downs, and when you're just starting, I think it used to be hard for me, you know, to make house music. So I started making beats, and I'm not saying that beats are inherently less complex, because of course you have fucking Flying Lotus and whatnot, but like I think it's easier to make a hip-hop beat that sounds good than it is easy to make a house beat that sounds good, not just a beat, like a track. So I did hip-hop beats for a while, and then when I was like searching for my sound, like I was like, okay, I'm ready to make house music again. I was searching for my sound for a while, and going back to Soichi Terada and the album I'm about to talk about was really what clicked inside my head, you know, and made me understand, okay, this is what I have to do. And the other album is the Bomberman Hero soundtrack. Like, going back to it, those two, and also like what really kicked this off was a live set by this dude from Brazil called Gabriel Guerra. I'll link his stuff down below. This guy used to play in a band called Dorgas, and I used to be a fan of them in my teens. And I remember checking out an interview with them where they say that the Bomberman Hero soundtrack was one of their biggest influences. And afterwards, Gabriel told me that was a joke. But I think it was an 80% joke. So we're talking like teens, like 14 when I read this interview, and that was when it clicked with me that video game music was fucking awesome, you know, when I went back to that soundtrack back then. And then watching this guy play, Gabriel, recently, so this must have been like 2016 or 17, kind of brought me back to those two, you know, and they became my major influences: the Bomberman Hero soundtrack and the Far East Recording compilation by Soichi Terada and Shinichiro Yokota. Nazari asks, what's the book that changed your life? Two that I can think of that kind of changed my life. One is kind of stupid, and it's The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I read it when I was like 13. That's when my depression started, because it was the first time I was faced with the major existential questions, that you have in life. So yeah, that had a big impact. So that was big. The other one is might be a bit of a cliche, but well, it's a fucking masterpiece, which is Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse. That book, but if you're going to read it, you need to make sure it's a version with an author note in the end. And yeah, I don't want to go into what exactly it is, I think, because I don't want to tinge anybody's experience with it and what they get out of it. But that one's crazy, man. That one's crazy. Devil's Blush asks, if you could choose a musician from outside the sphere of video games to record an alternate soundtrack for an existing game, who would you pick and which game would it be? So this is a hard one, because if you were just asking like a musician to make a game, I'll just pick like any I don't know, any musician that I like. But for an existing game, man. So first I need to think like of a game which soundtrack I don't really like. Something that I'd really like to see in games more is like Detroit techno, like true Detroit techno. Like I'm talking Magic Juan and Jeff Mills and shit. Yeah, I got one. There's this album by Jeff Mills. Jeff Mills' recent stuff is wild, man. Jeff Mills too. Whoever doesn't know is like one of the greatest techno legends. So Jeff Mills nowadays, sometimes he goes back to it. I just took a listen to a 2019 album from him, which has like some dance stuff, but he also has stuff which is completely like beyond that. It's just like thick atmospheric techno that really feels like you're walking in a frozen, deserted alien world, and that's perfect for Metroid, man. Make Jeff Mills do the soundtrack to Metroid, like this latest Metroid. I didn't care a lot for its soundtrack. Metroid Dread game was good. It was a good action game. I don't think it's a great Metroid game, because Metroid games are about the beats, man. They're about the beats. And make Jeff Mills make a Metroid soundtrack, because Metroid is about isolation in an alien world. And listen to this album by Jeff Mills and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's called Man from Tomorrow. It's on YouTube, not on Spotify, unfortunately. So 2 last ones now. They're kind of similar. So Frank asks, or Frank, because it's French, I don't know, sorry. Have you ever considered doing live shows on stages? And yes, I have done many actually. But I think your question is about the VGM DJ set project specifically, and absolutely talked about this before. But I've been a DJ for many years, and I've played a couple of VGM tracks on like actual parties, like some Ridge Racer stuff and Persona stuff, and seeing like all the cool techno kids dancing to Ridge Racer music was truly a sight to behold, But like doing a strictly VGM set live with an audience would be awesome, and I think I can get people moving. I think I know my way around VGM as of now. But if you're asking about like playing my music live with like keyboards and like an actual live set, also yes, of course, very much. My schedule is open if you want to like be my manager and help me make a tour around the world. My schedule is open and I'm down to do it. And Battle Girl Dimples asks, what's your dream gig to perform at? Dream gig, I think like a cool festival would be my dream gig. I think maybe the Sonar Festival, which is like the coolest festival I think that's it. And so that's what we have for today. I hope that was entertaining. Is it? Can you comment below if this was entertaining in any sort of way? I don't know, man. Because when it comes to like communicating in English, I really, it's hard to crack jokes and stuff like that. But I don't know, I hope you had fun, and I'll get the PS1 video done as soon as possible. Anastasia is up here, taking a little bath. Bye, and thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for this awesome year. It went by so fast, god damn it. Here's to a lot more years doing this shit, and thanks for the support. And this is crazy, like the fact that I can pay my bills by being a video game music DJ is just absolutely insane, and I can't really, like, from the bottom of my heart, can't thank you all enough. And cheers, have a good one.